Here's our take on. Here's my opinion. Here is what I think the best thing about a cell phone is. A cell phone gives you the freedom now to eat by yourself in a restaurant.
Because you can play on it when you're sitting by yourself.
Well, I feel it gives you a great ability to be early or to be in a restaurant and someone's running late and you don't look like a loser.
No, I mean just you want to get breakfast. It's okay to go in. So if you don't have a cell phone, this is pre-cell phone. If you walked into a restaurant alone, it was pretty pathetic.
No, I tell you, I did it with a newspaper.
Okay,
breakfast,
the newspaper.
I would take a newspaper.
But not a lot of people would read the newspaper. If you're sitting by yourself, you would try to go to the counter, because the counter you could talk to people. But if you're alone at a table, you are waiting. You can't eat fast enough.
Well, you see, I used to go to restaurants alone a lot, but
Me too.
before cell phones, and I would either bring something to read, a script, or a newspaper, and I would consciously know that I was sitting there reading and hanging out by
Did you feel
myself.
bad?
No, because well, most of the time I just went if the waitresses were cute, and I tried to, flirt with them. So I would just be with a newspaper or something, and then, but I never felt bad about going alone.
I like to go alone and sit at the counter. I actually like that.
I'm not a counter guy. You guys know it. I don't like sitting at the counter.
I love the counter.
I used to go to Solly's down there in that big booth, and I'd sit in a big booth by myself, but I'd always leave a nice tip, so they were fine. But I didn't want to have other people on each side of me that I didn't know.
But my point is, now with a cell phone, you can make you look like you're busy. I got emails.
It's
something I got to do.
Yeah,
as opposed to looking at a friggin' newspaper, you're pathetic.
Well, no, you're having breakfast, you're reading a newspaper, and it never bothered me. But I don't go to nice restaurants alone, or even middle restaurants anymore, because I'll take food to go.
So you won't sit at the counter?
I don't like to. I'm not a big...
Why?
Because then you really feel like
that's
a
our
loser.
battle.
No, then you feel like you're alone, that you're sitting at the counter.
The counter is cool.
But you got people right next to you, and you hit their
That's
elbow.
what you know. You want to talk to
No,
neighbors.
George.
You want to talk to the bartender.
George will talk to anybody who walks into any establishment for an hour. I don't come to a restaurant to talk to a stranger. He could be a serial killer. I come to either with a friend or by myself.
But at the counter, you're kind of cool. You sit there.
You know me. I do not sit at counters.
Yeah, I know that.
Isn't taping your podcast more important?
I had the phone on. My wife is texting me about something.
Oh, okay.
You know, when I was traveling a lot for business, I came up with this idea for a restaurant chain in big cities called Cafe Solo, where you could only go there alone. It's not a place where, because everybody's sitting is by themselves, so nobody's going to be self-conscious. You're at your table.
So how do you fill the occupancy with that? What is it? Just one?
It's all people with one. If you show
so you
up,
sit with other people?
No, well you could, but you can't come there with two people. You have to show up alone.
Well, okay.
And I think people.
But they have that. They have like those French restaurants. They have the big giant table.
Yeah, but I mean, this is designed for you to go to a party of one. Everybody there is a party of one.
I don't know if that'd do good business, because not all the time would.
You don't have to sit at a community table. You could sit by yourself at your own table.
No, but what if two people wanted to come in and you're not going to let them come in? It's
right,
only for one.
That's right.
I think that's the worst business model in the world.
The point is not to let businessmen that are traveling feel self-conscious about eating alone.
But that's my point.
But I don't think.
But if the whole restaurant is alone, then you belong.
I think that's a terrible business model.
It's a gigantic
Men
business
go to
model.
restaurants alone as business travelers all the time.
But that's my point about cell phones. Is a cell phone now gives you the freedom to go into a restaurant by yourself and not feel like a loser.
I don't feel like I feel like the cell phone is even making you waste the opportunity of sitting there and meeting new people.
Okay,
like why do I have to play
George,
on my phone?
Not everybody wants to meet a new person at breakfast. Okay,
I do.
No, I honestly
George, airports are tough for George.
Oh, yeah.
George, I've been to airports. George talks to everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm calling Mark and going, he's talking now to the guy next to me. I don't know who the heck this person is.
Remember that guy
and he's having a full
wearing a wrap T-shirt, and I go, "Is that the Snoop Dogg version
Yes,
of
yes.
Death Row, or
Yes.
is it the?" That was funny.
And I'm like, he talks to everybody. People in line. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and then he brings people over to you and introduces you to people. No, he's known
you
for
guys are
doing
no
that.
fun.
No, I like when I'm traveling alone. I kind of okay being alone, and I kind of like it, and I'm hanging out.
So you'll walk into a restaurant and go, one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do.
I mean, I used to do it solo.
No, I do it. I do it, but I do it because I'll go to the counter. I will not sit at a table
See,
by myself.
I think most people
I don't think I've ever
think-
done that.
I like to sit at the bar.
I think most people think you're either cool or you don't give a damn, and I'm coming to eat at a restaurant, and they kind of going, wow, he's alone, he doesn't care, and he's eating. That's kind of cool. I never had an issue like, oh, I'm all by myself. I really didn't, because I went to eat and then I left.
Okay.
And I,
All right.
but
Well, that settles that. Let's shift it to something else.
okay.
How about this? How about this advice has anybody given you the advice? They say, like, if you have a problem and you don't know what to do, and you're kind of thinking about it, you're asking people, what do you think if I should do this, or what should I do that? I don't know about this. Here's my problem. This A, B, and C are my solution. And somebody says, sleep on it.
I hate that if they say
That is the worst advice in history.
You want interaction.
You know, there are
you
two
want
instances
conversation.
where I think it's good for me.
Go.
The first is when somebody does something and I want to respond immediately emotionally, and I know better not to do that. So if I wait till the next day, not sleeping on it, but if I wait till the next day, I'll respond with something that is not an emotional, like, backlash, so that I don't feel when I read it, like in the future, I'm going to say, look how immature I was. But the other thing is, and this is on failures, I never let myself get down, but if something happens where something's a temporary failure,
Dead
or
air,
something
George. Dead air, George.
you're counting on,
Speed it up, George.
doesn't work, I'll give myself that day to just be bummed about it. Next morning I get up, I take a shower. The shower is to start, like, okay, it's over. Now I'm going to start fresh. Let's go conquer the world.
Yeah, that's not interesting.
See, sleeping on it to me is the worst advice, because I will go to bed and I will think about it all night long, and I don't sleep. So I'm supposed to sleep on it, but I'm doing everything but sleeping. And I wake up in the morning pissed off and tired, and I don't have my problem's not solved. So that to me is horrible advice for me.
Yeah, I needed a resolution. If I'm asking
Yeah.
somebody something, I want a conversation. I don't want them to
However
say,
it is.
Yeah.
And if you're still sort of troubled about it, go sleep on it, Mark. You go, well, no.
No, I don't want to think about it.
That's exactly my point.
Okay, I
So,
agree with
all
you.
right, so we agree on that. But George is the odd man out. George,
Yes.
But George,
Usually
you're the odd man out.
See, George has a different mind than we do. George has an executive mind.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
very.
And that's not me and you. We're creative people. George is the executive, and he compartmentalizes everything.
and he gets things
and this
done.
is how it goes.
And it's
Right.
that we just wander around aimlessly
That's
in the
exactly
forest,
right.
and he's
Until
already
George
dug up berries.
Until George tells us where to go.
Exactly. The sun is in that direction, we go there, and we're like looking at a rock, going, "This is pretty." Yeah.
So we solved what? We solved sleeping on it. We didn't solve
Eating
it.
alone.
Eating alone. Eating alone is not cool.
I like eating alone.
But I think whenever I'm in a restaurant, somebody walks in, I go, oh, really? I feel bad for that guy.
why don't
Or
you
that
go
I've
girl.
invited
See,
people
Okay,
to sit with
okay,
me.
better for a man or a woman, it doesn't matter.
A man.
Okay, so a woman walking in alone is a different ballgame, isn't
No,
it?
but
Yeah,
I thi-
but
I think
it
it's
actually
more
shows,
intriguing.
It actually shows courage and strength.
Why?
If
That's
I saw-
sexist.
Because you're right.
No, that's
You're
sexist.
absolutely right. But it used to be different. Now it's
No,
not.
I would think a woman sitting there alone shows that
Wants
she
you to
does.
talk to her.
No. She doesn't have any issue with it. Like, she's totally secure with herself. She's totally okay. And I'm actually impressed. If a woman sits there and eats alone, I'm going,
Did you
wow.
just look at your watch?
I did. He was talking too much.
Wow. Okay. He wants to get out of here by 9. I just want everyone to know.
All right, so a woman walking in it's still a little bit different than a guy. It is.
It is. Yeah, you're right.
You never think a woman's a loser, especially if she's an attractive woman. Now that's totally chauvinistic, but you don't think she's a loser.
It's very chauvinistic.
I know. No, I'm being honest about life, but I'm
What
saying.
does that have to do with it? If she's attractive or not?
No,
Exactly.
No. Because you
If
would
she's
say,
attractive-
is she waiting for a date or no? She's just alone.
So if she's ugly, it means she has no date. Nobody wants to be with
No,
her. is
then
what
I
you're
would
saying.
feel bad. I would feel. I
Well,
would actually
that's
feel.
that's very sexist. I'm shocked.
No, but I bet you most people in the audience understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying it. Yes, I would say because I would feel bad that she had to go alone versus wanting to go alone. I would say that to an ugly guy too, including myself. I'm sure people look at me and go, "Oh, that's so sad." No, I'm saying we all make that judgment. But,
Okay. Yeah. No, I agree. All right. What about a fat person?
Well, how fat?
All right. That's it.
See up my nose with the